Let's try this. Testing, testing. There we go. It's always one option or the other. Okay, so looks like we're good to go. So I just wanted to hop on, you guys, and I saw somebody make a bow like this the other day, and I thought, what a great idea to use up leftover wrapping paper and create matching bows for your presents. So I'm going to show you how to make this really fun bow here, and then I've always known how to make this more fluffy bow or ribbony type bow, and so I'm going to show you how to make that too. So if you're able to join, say hi. Let me know you're watching. Where are you watching from? Have you got all your presents bought? Have you just started? I'm actually a little bit ahead of the game this year. I've got most of my presents purchased, so I'm just waiting for a few more to come in. But other than that, I'm good. Okay, so before I get started showing you how to make these two bows, I just want to mention that the Joy Box is open for January. So December box is closed. We've shipped that, and we actually did our first craft today, which was super fun, and we'll do a second craft tomorrow. But the Joy Boxes make great gifts, so if you want to gift somebody a Joy Box for a couple months, January's open, and it will be closing. I don't have a set date yet when it will close so that we can get ready for it to get shipped, but there'll be a date coming up, and we'll post that on the internet. Any rate, if you're interested in that, I will post a link to my website here in the comments. And then if, let me just find that real quick. Okay, so the link to Joybox, our website, is in the comments. So if you want more information about it, all of that is on our website, and you can sign up there. The other thing before we get started on the bows is the blizzard bags. And I know the holiday winter break is coming up, so make sure to have some activities for the kids. I'm sure the weather's going to get cold, and maybe outdoor activities isn't going to be as much as we'd like to. The blizzard bags have a ton of activities, over 16 activities in the bags, hours worth of fun, crafting and painting and games and all sorts of things. And so those can be found, might as well just put that in there as well, in our shop on our website. They're $20, and we have, I think we have about 45 left, so make sure to get yours before they're gone. Okay, so let me show you how to do these bows. So, just get this present out of the way here. So all you're going to need is some of your scrap paper left over. You know, we always have these bits that are left over from wrapping presents, and so that's all you need, just some scraps. So let's start with this fun curling ribbon here, curling bow. And I'm going to make it out of this scrap striped paper. And really you can do any size here. Nothing to measure. The longer the strips that we make, the more, you know, you'll have to curl those strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, let's see, how long did I make this one? About that. So I'm going to just take part of this scrap I have here. I'm going to fold it in half and then cut off the excess. So I've got about, well, I'll just tell you, just to kind of give you an idea. It's about 14 inches long, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches wide. And I'm just going to fold it in half, okay? And then I'm going to fold it, so this is, what do they call this? The hamburger fold, and then the hot dog fold. So then we'll fold it the long way here, okay? And then after you fold it, we're just going to cut strips in it. And you don't want to cut your strips too thin, because when we curl them, it will be harder to curl and they will tear off. So about 1/4 to 1/2 inch wide. And we're going to cut strips on the open end. So let me see if I can I got to remember I've got the camera above me. So here's the open end, here's the folded end. So we fold it in half, we fold it long ways. This is our fold, and I'm cutting up to that fold. So we're going to cut some more strips here. And I go to about 1 inch away from the top. And this is going to allow me to have a area where I can tape it down onto the box. So we're just cutting 1/4 inch, and this one's going to be a little bit big. Well, we can maybe squeeze one more stripe in there, one more strip, okay? And then this last one is on the fold right here, right? So we're going to cut along the fold to make that one a little bit thinner. So now we've got this. If I unfold it, we've just got a sheet of paper with some strips in it. Okay, and so I'm going to leave it open like this, and then the next thing is I'm going to open up my scissors, and I'm going to hold my fingers right at the end of my cut strips here. I'm going to bring my scissors right up to the end here on the back side. So this is the side that's doesn't have the pattern, and I'm going to just hold my thumb over the edge of my scissors between the two, and just gently pull that, and it will start to curl. So I get this fun curl in my paper. So I'm going to put my scissors underneath the strip. I'm going to hold my thumb gently on the edge of my scissors, and then I'm just going to gently pull that out, and it creates this curl. So we want to do that with all of the strips that we've created here. And if some of the strips rip off when you're pulling it, no big deal. Once we get this all together, you're not going to notice if you're missing a stripe or a strip of curls inside that bow. So here's one that didn't curl all that well. We can just go back and do it again. And if you try it a couple times and it's still not curling, it's kind of being difficult, just rip it off. Oh, there we go. I pulled too hard. I didn't have my thumb holding it down, and I just ripped off one of those, but that's okay. Once we get this all together, you're not going to be able to tell. So we put our scissors underneath our strip. Make sure to hold your thumb at the base of that strip, and then just gently pull and create that curl. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over and do the back side. So hold the base, pull, and curl. If it doesn't curl, try again. If a third time doesn't work, just tear it off and move on. So you can make these strips pretty thick or pretty thin, depending on how much you want to curl or not curl. And it will just give you a different looking bow altogether at the very end. So here's another one I just ripped off on accident. That's okay. And there we go. So it looks kind of all bunched up right now, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold it back to that area, and I'm going to fold it one more time. And now I've got a little tab here that I can tape to my box, and then I'm just going to give it a shake. So now I've got this cute little curly Q bow. So this one's a little smaller than this. Again, it's going to depend on how thick you want your, or how thick you make it, depending on your scrap. You know, I could do it, well, you want to have enough that you have semi-long strips, but if your paper was wider, you would get more bow. So just keep that in mind. And just give it a shake and maybe pull those out and kind of scramble them together so they create this nice fluffy little bow. So if we get my present back out here, I can then take this and tape it down, give it a little fold, and now I have this fun little matching curly Q bow for my present, all from the scraps. And so I typically buy coordinating wrapping paper. I don't know if you do or not, but you know, they all pretty much match each other, so I can use my scraps from my other paper and place it on this one, and this could go on a green present. Okay, so that is one way to make a bow out of scrap paper, and you could make a couple of these and put them together. So you could even, you know, put this little red one inside this green one that I have, give it a shake, and now we've got some fun red stripes inside of this. So lots of different ways that you could mix up scrap paper too for this bow. And this this wrapping paper does have the lines on the back, but you really can't even see that in the bow once you've curled it. So if you've got guidelines on the back of your paper or anything like that, don't worry about it, just use it anyways, and it will look great. Okay, so that one's an easy one. Let's go to the next one. So this one's kind of one of those old classic type bows that, you know, you see at the bags at Walmart or any sort of, even at the grocery stores carry these bags of the bows, and they come in all different colors. And so I saw this the other day, someone make this, and I thought, what a cool idea to make one out of the scraps to match your wrapping paper. So this one, we want to use strips. So you're going to cut your wrapping paper. I've got 1-inch strips. Again, I just used the lines on the back, and I cut 1-inch strips, and then they're 12 inches long. So you want 3 of them at 12 inches long or about. It does not have to be exact. If you're short a little bit, no worries, your bow will just be a little bit smaller. But you want 3 at a longer length, and then we want 3 a couple inches shorter. So I'm going to take 3 of these and cut 2 inches off. So I'm going to cut 2 squares off of that. So now I've got 3 strips that are just a little bit shorter, and then 2 strips we want to make even shorter. So I'm going to cut these to about 7 inches or 8 inches. Again, it does not have to be exact. And then I'm going to use one of these leftover pieces for the center. So again, you've got 3 longer pieces, about 12 inches, 3 medium size, about 10 inches, and then 2 strips about 7 inches. And then the leftover piece, this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 inches. Okay? All right, so we're going to build our little bow here. And when you're working with this bow, you want to have your pattern on the table, non-pattern side up. And you can use a couple different things to create this bow. Let me see, where's my... You could use a double-sided sticky tape, like a tape runner. Let me show you. But mine is out right now. So something like this would work. But again, I'm out. Or a glue stick. These dry pretty fast, so that works. You could use a glue gun, or you could just use regular tape. Okay, so I'll just use regular tape here, because that's typically what we have at the table when we're wrapping presents, right? Okay, so I'm gonna fold this in half just to kind of get an idea of where my center is. And what we're gonna do here is we're going to create these points on our bow. So I'm going to take the end here, and I want to fold it and turn it to come back to the center. Excuse me, my hand's in there. But the key is to put that pattern down. Okay, so let me try that again and see if I can get my hand out of the way. So we've got our pattern facing the table. We're going to turn our bow back towards that center and keep it facing down so that we get this curved edge here. And then once we get it almost to the center, we want to have this nice loop here. We can just tape it down. It doesn't have to be exactly right on the center or align with anything, just to create a nice little curve here. Okay, so let's do the other side. I'm going to take my strip, and my goal is to put that pattern down in that center. So I'm going to turn it and place it there, and I've got this nice bow, or this loop here. Okay, so let me bring this up a little bit. So we've created this figure 8 almost, and so that's one piece. So let's do the next one. So I'm just going to again give it a quick little fold at the center so I can see where that is. And again, it doesn't matter if it's right on the center, if you fold it back to the center, it doesn't matter. Once we get it all together is when it's you don't even see any of that inside. So here we go. We're going to take our strip, we're going to fold it. This one's going to come towards me, around, and then back down on itself to create this loop where we see the pattern. Okay, then on the other side, I'm going to turn it away from me and bring it back so that is down on the patterns facing down again. Okay, so if we look at it upside down, we've got this figure 8 shape, and we've got these loops on each side. They remind me of those slippers. I can't remember what they're called. Teak slippers? T-E-K slippers, that they're all folded up in a box. They ship that way, folded together. Anyways. All right, so I fold it in half just to kind of get an idea where the center is. I'm going to lay it pattern side down. I'm going to take this strip, bring it towards me, turning it so that the pattern then gets placed back down in that center area. I'm going to tape it down, and then this side I'm going to turn away from me, turning it and bring it down so that pattern is right downside on the strip there. Okay, so we've got our 3 long pieces done. Okay, and then let's do the medium size. So these were about 12 inches, and these are about 10 inches. So I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to take the right side, turn it towards me, turn it so that pattern gets placed downward, creating that loop. I'm going to tape it. And then the other side, I want to go the opposite way, but we still want that pattern piece to be facing down. So there's the small one, or the medium size. Okay, wait, that's a small one. All right, fold in half. Get my tape ready. So I'm going to turn it towards me on this side, flip it so that pattern is facing back down. And it creates that loop there. And then the other side, we want to go the opposite. So let me show you, if you went both ways, what it would look like if you didn't change the loop on each side. So if I were to come forward towards me on both sides, I get this shape more like a, I don't even know what that shape is. But you can see how it's going to create this set of loops here that aren't straight across from each other. It creates more of a U shape in that strip there. So you want to make sure that when you're turning your strips back on themselves, that one way you go toward yourself and the other you go away. So now I've got loops that are straight across from each other that way. Okay, we got one more medium size. Fold it in half. I'm going to turn this first one towards me, come back to that center, tape it down. The other one I'm turning away from me. Okay, and then we got the two small ones. As they get smaller, they get just a little bit more difficult because our space is a little tighter. But again, same thing, we want to grab the end of that strip, turn it towards me, bring it back to that center, and create that little loop. It's like a little cone, I guess. The other one's going to go the other way, and we'll tape it down. So we get two little cones on each end. All right, one more. All right, so this one, see ya. We're going to turn towards me, flip it around, and let me just bring that up, that first step. So we've got this nice cone right here. Okay, and then this one, we'll turn the other way. And we'll tape it down. There we go. So we've got 3 large, 3 medium, and 2 small. And then this one I'm not going to do anything with because I'm going to wait and see what my bow is going to look like to determine how big of a center I want. But pretty much all we're going to do is create a chain here to put down as our center piece to cover up all the white bits there. And this is going to change. There's no measuring this. It's all going to be determined on, one, how wide your strips are and how big all of your little loops are. So this is kind of something you kind of just judge at the very end. Okay, so for this one, we're going to start with one piece here, and I am going to use my glue gun for this. Again, you could just use regular glue here, or double-sided sticky tape, or you could use tape too, that would work. But just to kind of speed this along for you guys. Just going to put a dab of glue right in the middle right there. And then I'm going to place my next loop, large, right on top. But I don't want to go straight up and down. I kind of want to create this circle of loops. So this next one then is going to come and sit here, and you can kind of see how then that's, we want to equally space those guys out. Okay, so we'll put a little dab of glue right here. Place that in the center. You can start to see it building. Okay. All right, next one. The medium sized, I'm going to place it where I don't have a set of cones or loops there. So I'm going to go in that empty space, so between these two. And super glue or hot glue gun is very, or not very forgiving. So with regular glue, you might have some time to move those around and adjust them, but this I don't. Okay, so the next one is going to go into the space where we don't have the loop. Okay. And then the next one, again, a space where we don't have a loop. We're going to try and offset this one. And eventually we're just going to, you know, go over one of the existing loops. Okay. All right, we got just two more little pieces then to fill in this center. All right, there we go, guys. Doesn't that look great? And all we then need is that center piece to cover that up. So again, like I said, you just kind of want to wait till you're done, see how that's going to look, and then go from there. So you might want to cut some off, make it a little smaller. So I'm going to cut just a little bit of that off. I don't need it quite as big. And I'm going to tape it closed. So we're just creating a single loop here. I'm going to put a dab of glue in the center and then press this in to the center there. And we've created this super pretty bow that matches all of my wrapping paper. And depending, like I said, these can get bigger or smaller. It's all going to depend, one, on how thick of a strip you have. You know, if your strips are 12 or 14 inches long, your bow's going to get bigger. But what a great little bow. This one's a little smaller, so I must have made my strips a little bit smaller there. So what do you guys think? Do you put bows on your presents? I always start out with the first 10 presents are just super pretty, full of ribbon, full of fun bows, and then after that you're kind of over it, right? But we'll put this one on here. Okay, so let me tape this one down. So I tape it from the front, and then I'm also going to tape it from the back, just like you would any other type of bow, just to give it a little extra. There we go. Thanks, Linda. Very cool. Lenore says so pretty. Thank you, Nancy. Thanks. Linda always completes every package with a bow. Yes. Even if it's just a little simple bow, just a simple, even like, I don't have it here, but I typically have some really thin curling ribbon or something to tie around it and do something like that. Okay, guys. Anyways, I just thought that was kind of a fun little idea to do with your excess wrapping paper. I've always known this one, and I really like doing the curls, but I saw this tutorial the other day. I can't remember where I saw it from, but I thought it was a good idea. Just another way to use up our excess wrapping paper that we always end up having at the end, and it matches our presents perfectly. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great week. I hope that you are successful in getting all your presents and gifts. I hope if you're shipping, that shipping goes well for you at this time of year, and I'm sure I'll talk to you before the holidays, but if not, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.